Hello, everyone. Can anyone see me? Am I live? Am I live? I am just trying to connect with a couple people, see if anybody can see me. Um, okay, it's counting down. Very good. Very good. Yay! Can you see me? Can you see me? I am so excited. Let me see. Let me see if I have everything queued up and see if I am live. Yeah, to make sure that's my right Facebook page. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, hello, everyone. Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to my show. Okay, now I'm just going to try it one more time. What about now? What about now? Just making sure that someone out there can see me. Um, Let's see, let's see, let's see. But I am so excited that you all are here. I'm here and you're here. So we're here and I'm excited. So again, hey, my name is Dr. Naita, and I am an educator by profession, but I am an activist by passion. I enjoy connecting students with resources and the information that they need so that they can be successful. That's what I do for a living. That's what I do in my off time. That's what I do for fun. So how did I get there here? Well, I'm a California girl. I am from Los Angeles. For some, who know the area, I would be a Slauson Alviso girl. But for those who don't know the area, you would equate me with Crenshaw and Slauson. Either way it go, I'm from LA. My journey has been quite arduous. It really, really has. It has been a journey wherein I've gone through, public school system. I graduated from Crenshaw High School back in, and after that, I went to Tuskegee University. I have attended PWIs. My academic journey has been lifelong. And eventually now here I am, Dr. Naita. So my dissertation research when I was finishing my doctoral studies was on the multivariate. I did a multivariate analysis of the cost and effectiveness of accelerated learning programs in Florida. So I said all that to say that I'm an educator and I am here to help. I am here to help. So again, welcome. I'll tell you a little bit about my family. I have 4 amazing, amazing children. We are a blended family, meaning I did not give birth to all 4, but I'm not going to tell you who's who. Just know that we have 4 amazing children. They're all grown, have 2 incredibly beautiful and talented daughters and loves, and a gorgeous, gorgeous grandbaby. So with that, I love young people. I love helping young people. I love connecting them with the resources and the information that they need to be successful. So with all of that, well, why am I here? Where do I get my passion? I get my passion because coming from LA, coming from then the South Central area, I made a lot of mistakes. So, and even that bled over into adulthood. So what I try to do now is give young people the resources that they need and the information that they need so that they can avoid some of those pitfalls. So that's my passion. That's why I do what I do. And with that, I'm here. This is the show. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. And my platform is simple. I'm not going to be here by myself. I'm going to invite people to come in and to share their experience, their expertise, and their knowledge. I had to put on my glasses. I need to be able to see. And I'm going to share my heart. Now and I'm going to have fun, because if I'm involved and I'm doing it, it's going to be fun. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So this is not a Black show. This is a people show. However, I am wrapped in, and I live this extraordinary, amazing melanin life. So there are some issues that I will bring to the table that directly impact the African American experience. So I'm here, we're here, and I am just delighted that you all are here on my first night. This is my very first night, and I'm just so elated that everyone has come out to be a part. So with that in mind, like I said, each week we're going to have a special guest. And oh, did you hear that? That's the doorbell. Hold on, hold on. I think I have a guest. Well, I know I have a guest. Let's see if I can bring her in. So we're going to add a special guest. Dorcas, are you there? Can you hear us?
I am. Hello.
Okay.
Can you see me?
I cannot see you. Did you add your video? Did you add your camera?
I did. It was just working a moment ago.
Uh-oh. You want to step out and come back here? Uh-oh, I almost see you. Oh, there you are. Yes.
Okay. It's taking a moment. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I'm still trying to figure this all out. Well, everybody, please welcome to our to the show. My very first night. I'm so excited. But let's please welcome Miss Dorcas Etheridge.
Thank you.
Yay. Yes, I have a whole bunch of people in my front room, in my living room. Okay, no, I don't. I'm just kidding. So, Dorcas, I'm so glad that you are here, that you agreed to be on with me. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this young lady when I met her. So, I have worked many years in education. I have worked with young people for over 30 years. Don't tell anybody, but about 30 years. No, over 30 years. And I have worked in the post-secondary arena for the last 15, 16 years. And one of the populations that I served was the homeschool population. I worked with them for about 12 years. And I've met some amazing families. I've met some great, some good people, good homeschool families. But then every once in a while, you run across a family or two and you're like, oh my God, do you even like children? Why are you putting your kid through home education? There were just so many gaps, so many issues. And then I ran across this lady right here. Oh my goodness. When I first was introduced to her program, I was just amazed. She just stood head and shoulders above so many other programs that I have seen. So when I was thinking about my first show, what I wanted to talk about, definitely it was going to be about home education. There was no question in my mind who I was going to bring to the table. So Dorcas, please tell people just a little bit about who you are and why you started homeschooling your family.
Okay. My name is Dorcas Etheridge. I am a mother of four. I have a son and 3 daughters, and my degree is actually in nursing. So I was spending my life actually working as a labor and delivery nurse. And what prompted me to start homeschooling was just my experience with my eldest child. He had ADHD and had a very hard time just acclimating himself and being able to channel his energy inside of the classroom. So by the time my son was in 4th grade, we decided to homeschool him to try to make sure that he didn't get lost in the system. It was never about something being wrong with the school system. It was just that it wasn't the right fit for my son. My son just was not going to excel in that setting. And so I decided on that year to start homeschooling him, and we've been homeschooling ever since. So he's now in the Air Force as a working in the pharmacy. Never wouldn't have thought that in the beginning, you know, coming from a child that got put out of pre-K. So it was definitely a challenge, but we made it. So at this point, I have 2 graduates and 2 more to go.
Okay, very good. That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that story. And I had no idea that you are a trained, licensed, skilled nurse. And
Yes.
that is amazing. That is amazing. Well, thank you. Well, let's jump right in. I have a couple questions for you, but I do want to set the stage a little bit about what's going on across our nation. So I want to just kind of add something to our discussion, see if I can put this in a small format over here, see if that worked. Did that work? Do you all see the PowerPoint? Yay! Yay. Okay, so tonight we're talking about real strategies for homeschool or home education success. So, okay, keep going. Go to the next one. Okay, so In the spring of, I didn't say advanced that far, in the spring of 2020, America found itself in a unique situation. And that was that we were in a traditional classroom environment, classroom setting, and then all of a sudden we had to go remote. And this impacted millions of people. And at some point, this PowerPoint is going to, there we go. So it's, I guess, because of the thunderstorm that we encountered, the internet is acting up a little bit. But the nation, parents were in stress overload. All summer long, parents have been waiting for directives as to what's going to happen for the fall. And, they've been waiting to hear from from their state. They've been waiting to hear from their school district, then their local school administrators. But when we back it up and we look at what happened in the spring, when we had everyone transition from face-to-face to remote learning, this impacted over 70 million people, from 50 million public school students across the nation in public schools, and then another almost 6 million in private schools, and then not to count the additional 20 million that were in college. And they were just thrown into a virtual environment, and they were told that this is homeschooling or that this is online education. And it really wasn't. It was not online. It was not an online class, and it was not homeschool. It was simply remote learning in a crisis. And that's all. And that's what we lived through the spring. And in some cases, we've had to experience through the fall. So, Dorcas, can you talk to us about, I want to stop sharing the screen. Can you talk to us a little bit about what is the difference? Is there a difference between remote learning and homeschooling, or is it one and the same?
All right, there's definitely a difference between remote learning and homeschooling, and that's a very important distinction that needs to be made. Children that are in the public school system that were receiving education from their teachers and through the district are still governed by those different standards, guidelines, testing mandates, attendance mandates, and everything that go along with the district. Mm-hmm. Homeschoolers operate on under different laws. And so a lot of the things that homeschoolers are able to do are going to be a little bit different than individuals who are doing the remote learning, such as those students doing the remote learning had to be online at certain times with their teachers. Mm-hmm. Assignments needed to be submitted to their teachers. They had to make sure they were there for attendance, or they were being marked absent, and truancy was going to be an issue. And it was also important to make sure that they understood they were still receiving grades from their teachers. Where homeschoolers, the parents had more flexibility during the crisis. So as things changed, those homeschoolers were able to move in different ways and restructure their schedules with their children. So it's always very important that they understand that it's very different. And so taking advice from different people in the homeschool community, you want to make sure you understand that we are governed by very different laws.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard you say that you could be truant in a remote learning environment.
You absolutely could be truant. So I'm a teacher as well, even though I'm a homeschool parent, but I am a public school teacher. I teach mathematics in a public school here in Duval County. You could absolutely be marked absent for a day. So we had to make sure that we were taking attendance and speaking with parents. But for homeschoolers, it's a little bit different. There's flexibility. So when you're doing remote learning, you want to make sure you follow all the rules and guidelines that they set forth, that with your teacher, your school administrators, and the district.
Okay, very good. So you're saying from the very beginning on the outset, you need to know the rules and follow all the
Absolutely.
guidelines that are set up by your district. I'm jotting down some notes because I'm going to post them shortly as we speak. So so how long have you been homeschooling? How many years has that been?
Oh, it's been close to 19 years.
Oh, wow,
All
19 years.
right.
Okay, so you've been around for a while in homeschool. So
It's been a while.
absolutely, absolutely, 19 years. So the newest trend in homeschooling, of course, is now the whole remote learning. But do you see any other trends that are going on in the home education arena?
I think in home education, I think there are a lot of things that are just starting to change due to COVID-19. So we have a lot of parents who are looking for ways to educate their children. A lot of
Mhm.
parents who have to work and they are not accustomed to or did not know anything about homeschooling, or they weren't interested in necessarily homeschooling. So here they are now trying to find ways to educate their children, keep their children safe, and also trying to maintain some normalcy with their own careers and jobs. So
Yeah.
now we have a lot of things popping up in what they're calling homeschooling, but it's very different. We have these pods, these educational pods that are emerging, that are definitely going to have an effect and definitely changing the way homeschooling looks, and also
Mhm.
changing the dynamics within the public education system as well.
So can you share pods? Because I know a lot of people, I know I was alarmed when I first heard about it, but can you share a little bit more? What are pods? Who gets involved? And is there a cost involved?
All right, so basically, what we're seeing is the educational pods are where families are coming together, and they're getting their children together, and they are basically hiring individual teachers to come in and teach their children. So you may have a pod that has 10 children, and
Mhm.
all of those children are going to adhere to certain rules and guidelines to stay safe, but they're going to be getting their direct education from a teacher that's going to be hired. And these pods, we've seen charges anywhere from 50,000 a year to $125,000 a year to hire an educator to come in and educate that small pot of children. Now there's the beautiful thing about that is that you're going to have children that are going to be learning, and they're going to learn in a small setting. And so
Mhm.
we all know that learning in a small setting with a small group of children and a teacher, you get more one-on-one attention. And so the learning is going to be improved for those students. However, the issue is that for individuals of lower socioeconomic status are not able to
Mhm.
afford those types of resources. Those
Mhm.
parents don't have $2,500 per child to spend on a pod. To put
Mhm.
their children in a pod. So the issues that are arising is this discrepancy. So you're going to have these resources, teachers who work in a school setting, who we all know don't make $125,000 a year, don't make
Mhm.
$75,000 a year. So it's a great opportunity for those teachers to be able to go out, make more money, work in a safer environment. And so we've seen quite a few teachers that are leaving the system to go out to educate in these pods. But again,
Wow.
the issue with them is that we don't have those resources coming out necessarily for children of a lower socioeconomic status, where their
Mhm.
parents can't buy into those pods. And that's something that we need to really start thinking about, how we bridge that gap as a community for those students.
Wow. So when we hear of proposals to take funds from schools, if they don't open and give it to parents, then those parents can then use that money to form small pods and hire instructors to come to their homes or wherever and instruct their children.
That is definitely something that could possibly happen, especially if that's where it goes. If the money
Mhm.
does go to families, then yes, that will be something that parents, and families can consider.
Wow. I know when I first heard about this, I was kind of blown away because especially at 100, if they're hiring teachers, I mean, I know people who are watching right now who are teachers, they're like, what? I can do what? Let me look into this. How do you spell that? Odds? I know that there will be some that are looking, but if a teacher can make $125,000, and I'm sure that's teaching more than one pod, but, teaching a couple pods, a certified teacher, they will jump out of the public school arena, jump out and into that boat in a heartbeat. So this is very interesting. So it's definitely something that I want to keep my eye on as, the days and months move forward. So Very good. Thank you for sharing that. So what advice can you offer to our homeschool families, those who have decided, look, COVID is real. I'm concerned. I'm deeply concerned for the safety of my children, but I want them to continue in their educational pursuits, of course, but I'm concerned about their health. So I've decided to keep my child home this semester or this quarter. What are some strategies for success that you think that you can provide to parents?
I think you have to start with the foundation. I've always operated from the philosophy that as a parent, my child's education was simply an extension of my parenting. And with that philosophy, I never looked at whether or not my child was in public school, private school, or homeschooling being any different. It was my job as a parent to make sure I guided that education for them. And with that comes a little bit of ownership in the way that we handle things. So I would say that a parent needs to really understand first exactly what their goals are and what they're trying to achieve with their children, and then to look at the options that are available to them so that they can make the best decision. So if you're going to have your child at home, if your child is going to be learning through distance learning, or a virtual online program, you need to make sure you're also following those guidelines so that you don't run into any type of legal issues or issues with your children being removed from classes or kicked out of online classes.
And wait a minute, hold up, stop, hold up. Yes. You mean to tell me you can get kicked out of an online class?
Oh, definitely. You can get kicked out of an online class. If your child is not turning in assignments, they let you know from the beginning. So if your child goes X amount of days and they're not submitting assignments, your child can be removed from a class, and that grade, it will show on your child's transcript. So again, from the beginning, a parent has to understand no matter what option you choose, their education is definitely, you are the person that's still leading that. And you need to make sure that you are staying on top of those things with your children.
Wow. Any other advice about that?
I think we have to give ourselves some grace and understand that we are in the middle of a pandemic and a crisis. I see a lot of parents, and I have a lot that joined our local homeschooling group here in Jacksonville. And a lot of them are looking for resources and operating under the homeschool thought process. And I think that they need to understand to just take it easy. Not try to overwhelm themselves in this year. You need to make decisions based on what you're going to do with your child after this. So a parent that is planning to put their child back in school is going to make sure they educate their children differently than someone who is not necessarily, that may not be putting their child back in school. So you want to look at those types of things. You want to make sure that you are homeschooling based upon what your values are. In our community, we all homeschool for different reasons. And so it's very important for you to know your why and your impetus so that you can make sure you are moving in that direction, or you will find that homeschooling journey can be very overwhelming. It can be taxing if you are not working towards the goals that you have set for yourself and your family. For me, my homeschooling goals were to make sure, I always told myself that I wanted to do better than I wanted my children to be educated just better than they would have been in public school, and that at the end of our journey, that my children would be able to go into any field or any career that they chose to. So I homeschool based on those guidelines. So you want to make sure you're doing the same thing, because we don't all homeschool for the same reasons. Some of us are here for religious reasons. Some of us are here because our children had issues inside of school. Some of us, our children have medical issues and it's just not safe for them to be in school. So there's a lot of different reasons. So you have to know yours before you take too much advice from someone else on what the path should be for you.
Very good. Very good. So is that the same when you're looking for resources? You're just making sure that you're taking advice from people who have similar passions and directions in their homeschool approach?
Yes. So for me, what I always try to guide people in is that you always want to ask, don't just ask, what resources should I use? Don't just ask what curriculum or how should I homeschool? You want to basically, if you ask that question, you want to follow it up with a why. Why did you choose to homeschool this way? Why did you choose this curriculum? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Those questions are going to give you the answers that you need to understand whether or not this is fitting for you and your situation. It's the why that's the most important, more so than the what.
Okay, very good, very good. Well, thank you for that information. So Dorcas, when we look at the school, schools opening up again in just a few weeks here in Florida, but schools have opened in other areas of the country. So I want to show you a picture. And when you look at this picture, what's the first thing that you think of? So I'm trying to share the screen again. Okay. And so this is the first day of school at a high school in Georgia. When you look at this picture, as a parent, as an educator, as even a healthcare professional, what is the first thing that comes to your mind, or what is your concern, and what is your concern as it relates to homeschool?
For me, when I see the picture, I see a lot and I think a lot, but I see outbreaks. I see families being this illness and this virus being transmitted, not only just to these students, but to the teachers and all of the other people that work inside of the school setting for them, but also these individuals going home to parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles. Those are the concerns that I have when I see a picture like this.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think that, and I guess where I'm trying to lead to is the fact that we're starting school either now already in Georgia or we're starting in the next few weeks. Do you think there's a need for a contingency plan? Do you think parents should start planning now that your kids may be home again?
Absolutely. We've long thought that it was only going to be a matter of time. That we're going to be going in, schools are going to be open and closing, opening and closing. And that type of inconsistency is definitely something that makes it difficult. And that is what people saw in the spring, where it was this rush to get some type of education out to students. Teachers didn't have much time to plan. We literally found out like on a Friday and got the resources on a Friday and had to have classes up and running on a Monday. And so it was very different. And so a lot of people that struggled with it, it was just this understanding. That struggle was on both sides because we were all really just going along with that at that time. I do believe that parents who want to be successful going forward, it is going to be extremely important for parents to start looking at all of these options right now and looking at your support systems, looking at your family members that you have that can assist you, looking at friends in your community that can assist you, tapping into other resources, getting involved with other homeschooling groups and things, because in the end, we're going to have to get through this as families and communities. or we're
Absolutely.
not going to get through this at all. Some of this, again, going back to the socioeconomics, you're going to have some communities that are going to fare well because
Mhm.
they have the funds to be able to support this. But for a lot of our children who don't have access and resources, we're going to have to make sure that we're creating those within our communities and that we're working to bridge those gaps. And everybody's going to have to work to make this work for our children.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. I truly appreciate everything that you have shared at this time. I want to take a moment to celebrate my sponsor for tonight. We're going to come back to the resources, but my sponsor for tonight, and let me remove this banner. My sponsor for this evening is Inspire Hair, and Vicki Brooks is the owner operator of owner stylist of the of Inspire Hair, and she specializes in natural hair care and extensions and anything that you want to do with your hair. Whether she specializes in all of that. So I want to give a shout out to Vicki. Thank you so much for your support and your love and your friendship through the years. So Dorcas, at this time, do you have any last remarks or last comments that you'd like to share with homeschool families as we start wrapping this up?
Again, I just like to share that this is, as a homeschooler, I love my homeschooling community. Anyone that knows me knows I love education in general. And so this is definitely the time for us as homeschoolers to make sure we are assisting our brothers and sisters that are having trouble or struggling during this crisis. We want to make sure we are there for them and that we are offering some support and real guidance to them, and make sure we're taking the time to understand where they are, if they're doing the public school at home or if they're homeschooling, and offer them the best resources we can.
Very good. Thank you. I have posted some of the more popular Facebook communities of homeschools. Can you tell us about maybe the first one?
Yes. All right. So Soil Academy, this is one of my babies that I work with another homeschool mom, Mahogany homeschooler. And she's another homeschooling mom that's been in the community for a long time. So we teach live classes and offer homeschooling curriculum that is more geared to African American students. And so we host classes, math classes and science classes live. So homeschooling students who need that resource or parents who are struggling to teach mathematics to their students can join in. So we have math from 4th grade all the way up through algebra that are available to our students.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So at this time, I am just so excited again. Thank you. Thank you for being here this evening. One of the things that I want to do every week is, as I bring in a guest, I want them to give a shout out to a queen in their life. Again, this is not a Black show. I am African American. So I do embrace my culture. I embrace, and it impacts how I experience life, how things are presented to me as an African American female. But one thing that we do is we celebrate the women in our family. So This time, is there a queen in your life that you would like to give a shout out to?
For me, my pusher is my sister. She's actually my younger sister. But we are so close, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life. And without her, I sometimes don't know how I would make it. But she is one of the strongest women that I have come to know and appreciate. Just being able to call her sister all the time.
Yay! That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, I'm going to give a shout out to my mom. Although she is in heaven. And I was just really, really missing her sorely today. I don't know why. It just, how things with grief, it can come in waves. But it just out of nowhere, that light just blew. But out of nowhere, I just started grieving my mother. So I'm giving a shout out to my mom for, all the sacrifices that she made during my upbringing. And my very, very young, she had died when I was in my mid-20s. So in my young 20s, just all the sacrifices that she made and poured into me. So at this time, just wanted to, you know, give that shout out. Thank you. Thank you. I am just thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I'm just so excited again. And next week, we're going to talk about starting a new academic year strong, but it will be an educator's edition. So with that, thank you so much, Dorcas. Thank you for being here. Those who have been watching, thank you. I can't see comments. I'll figure that out next week. And I'll figure out what happened with that light also that just blew. But thank you again for being here. And I appreciate you. Thank you, Dorcas.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. And to everybody else, thank you all. I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you next time.